Hello again, music fans. I am back here for another video, and this time it is music related because the last couple that I had done had not been. Alright, so this one is about my part 2 of the bands that I've seen live. Now in part 1, I mentioned all the bands that I have seen here in Mexico, where I live. Alright, and including some Mexican bands and some international bands, like Amorphous, for instance. Okay, but I did forget to mention 2 of them. All right, and the 2 big ones, in fact. And the first one that I forgot to mention that I've seen twice, in fact, once here in my city and then again in another neighboring city, which is a larger city, is a Quiet Riot. Now, Quiet Riot was, in fact, one of the first big bands that I saw. Right, the first time I saw them was with their classic lineup. Not their original lineup, because Randy Rhoads was with them in their original lineup, but with their classic lineup of Kevin DuBron vocals, Rudy Sarzo bass, Carlos Cavasso on guitar, and Frankie Banali on drums. All right, so I saw those guys, that lineup in a neighboring city. Great show. And then I saw them again here in my own city, but several years later, by which time only Frankie Banali was the only remaining member of that classic lineup. This is the only Quiet Riot I have here on CD, but I do have a couple of Quiet Riot live DVDs. The other band that I have seen here, and I will put image of a album cover here because I don't have any music by them, is Deicide. All right, the death metal band, American death metal band, and that was a pretty brutal show. Very extremely heavy. Deicide. Now let's go to the ones that I have seen by traveling to the United States, either to the city of Tucson, Arizona, or Phoenix, Arizona. We'll start with the biggest one, and that would be Kiss. Love this cover. So I've seen Kiss 3 times. I never saw them in their original makeup era, nor in their non-makeup era. I saw them when they again reunited and put on the makeup. The first time I saw them was in their first farewell tour, where you had all the 4 original members. All right, I saw them in Tucson, Arizona, and the second time I saw them in Phoenix during the Rock the Nation tour, and then the third time again in Tucson. All right, with their current lineup of Tommy Thayer on guitar and Eric Singer on drums. And by the way, I'm not gonna go off on that original members and all that. I have no problem whatsoever with Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer. They're both great players, and I'm glad they're in Kiss. All right, and I think they do a great job. But anyway, so here, let me show you some stuff from that. The first time I saw them, it was during that so-called first farewell tour, and I got this program. Here it has die cut right there in the top. It says Kiss. It was the 4 original members. They are Ace Frehley and Peter Criss, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. And what this has, it has up to then, every single tour date that they had ever done. So that's all the text that's right there. This is the program. I don't think I got any other merchandise here in this when I went to see them. Second time I again bought a tour book. It was this one, the Rock the Nation tour. This one's got some pretty cool pictures. As you can see, Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer were in the band. Really great pictures. Okay, and that tour came out on DVD, and I have it here. Rock Nation Live. The first time I saw them, Ted Nugent opened up for them. Here's my one and only Ted Nugent vinyl, which I believe is Ted Nugent, the self-titled. This one has a stranglehold on it. It's pretty cool. Got this one, I remember, used at a thrift store. There's a lot of ringwear, as you can see, but the album plays great. And second time that I saw them with Poison. Now, I don't have any Poison in my collection. You know, I don't have anything against that band, but they're not for me. I'm not going to put any image either, you know, because you know who Poison are. All right, and as I understand, and the third time that I saw them, it was with an opening band that I have never heard of, and I can't remember the name of it, of that band. It was a very, very little known independent band that I just cannot recall. Okay, and so another band that I've seen live. In fact, I'm hard pressed in my memory to remember if I saw this artist live or Quiet Riot. Which one was the big artist that I saw? But it was Ozzy Osbourne here, and I do remember it was in support of this album, the tour, the Down to Earth album. Okay, and it was a great show. Though I do remember that this tour had to be canceled because Ozzy had injured himself. I believe in the bathroom. He had injured his leg, so he was wearing some sort of brace. But he did do the show. But then I heard that shortly after, that tour got canceled. All right, precisely because of that injury. On this concert, which was in Tucson, Arizona, two bands opened up. The first was Soil, who up to even today is a little known band, but this is a really good album. You could call it nu metal, which I'm not really into, but I do like this album. All right. Soil. And the other, it was two opening acts. The other one was a Rob Zombie, and boy, what a great show he put on. And I dare say that he upstaged Ozzy Osbourne. I have this is a Rob Zombie greatest hits of his. There's the beautiful wife on the back cover. This is a greatest hits that includes a CD and DVD. All right, like I said, really great show, and it was the full show. You would think that he was the headliner because he had the giant monsters and the giant robots and the go-go girls and fire and the whole spectacle, you know, full spectacle. Okay. Another band that I've seen live, this one in Phoenix, was Judas Priest. All right, the classic band Judas Priest, and Rob Halford had just gotten back with them, and it was during the Angel of Retribution tour. So it was a great tour, great show. There I got this program in that show. Of course, KK and Glenn Tipton were still in the band. Sadly, right now, for various reasons, they are not. And in this particular show, Queensryche opened up for them. All right, I do have a lot of Queensryche, and I believe I have in my videos a Queensryche collection video. So you know who Queensryche are. There's no need for me to put an album cover there. Now another legendary band that I've seen live is Iron Maiden. Saw those guys in Phoenix, and it was in their Somewhere Back in Time tour. All right, and there I got the reason I'm showing this one because during that tour they were reusing the Power Slave stage. All right, so they had the whole the pyramids, and then Eddie as a mummy coming out of a giant Eddie from the back of the stage. And I believe that the Eddie that comes out and walks around was the Somewhere Back in Time Eddie. All right. So Iron Maiden, legendary band. Only seen them once, but at least I've seen them live. Okay, another band that I've seen live is the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Here's the tour program that I got. And it's 2005, several years ago. Incredible show. It was, of course, during the Christmas season. I don't know if it was November or December when I saw them, but these guys put on a hell of a show. I mean, with the lasers and the smoke and the fire and everything, I mean, really, really spectacular. Of course, this is the band that morphed out of Sabotage, you know, which is a bit odd, but that's the way it is. And they are pretty heavy, you know. They're heavy when they want to be, and of course they mix in the symphonic elements. I have a calendar here that I'm going to show you. And I can't remember if I bought this. I probably did in the merchandise stand of that show, or if I got it later. Trans-Siberian Orchestra. This one has paintings by Greg Hildebrandt, who is better known for doing some really cool Lord of the Rings calendars back in the 80s, back in the 70s and 80s. Oops, upside down. All right, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Catch them if you can. Really great show. Another band that I saw live was Heaven and Hell. Now, in the previous video, I showed that I saw Dio. Here I saw Dio again, but this time with the Heaven and Hell lineup, which is, of course, the Black Sabbath lineup from the Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules albums. Right there, with Ronnie, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Vinny Appice. And yes, this is the Radio City Live, and it was this tour. It was the one that I saw. Okay. Of course, I also have the audio CD of this. Let's see what we got here. Again, another band. And when I saw Heaven and Hell, there were two opening acts. One of them was Machine Head, for which I have nothing of. I'll put a cover over here. And the other one was Megadeth. So Megadeth, even though they're a huge band, they were opening up for Heaven and Hell. But I've seen Megadeth twice. Once when they were doing that, you know, opening up for Heaven and Hell, and on that bill with Machine Head, and then again on their own, themselves headlining with Exodus. Again, I will put a picture over here with the band Exodus because I don't have anything of them. And they were on tour, and I saw them in Tucson for this album, as I recall. The System Has Failed album. Again, great show, super heavy, super fast. You can imagine with Exodus there opening up. Okay, and I believe that is it for the bands that I've seen live. Oh, excuse me. There's another band that I've seen live, which is Testament. Okay, so when I went to see Testament, which was in, I can't remember if it was Scottsdale or Flagstaff, Arizona. But anyway, this was the album that they were kind of promoting. This is, well, or at least the latest album that they had at the time, which is First Strike Still Deadly, which is a re-recording of their classic material with their current lineup. Of course, the one I'm going to show here, because it shows up on camera better, is The Gathering. All right, they did play some songs from here, which this is an awesome album, The Gathering here. All right, and an anecdote about Testament. I had gone to see them previously in Las Vegas because they were opening up for Rob Halford. All right, so I go to Las Vegas, all the way over there, to see Rob Halford and Testament opening up. You know, it's going to be a great show. Excuse me. When I get there to Las Vegas, it turns out that the show had been canceled. So imagine my disappointment. All right. Of course, that disappointment didn't last very long because, of course, I was in Las Vegas. So I stayed there for a couple of days. And that helped ease the pain, though not completely. When I got back to Mexico, I saw on the website, Halford had been denied entry into the United States because of some visa problems, and he said that anybody that had gone to that show and was coming in from out of town, like myself, I was coming in from another country, that they could write to the website, and he was going to send them a free T-shirt. I thought, well, I'll do it. I wrote and I told my story, about how I'd gone on the bus, I believe it was from Mexico all the way to Las Vegas. And many months had passed. I wasn't expecting any T-shirt or anything. I thought it was too good to be true. But then I got in the mail this. All right. This is I believe it is a Japan-only CD, EP rather, from it's called Forging the Furnace, and it is autographed by the Metal God himself and the members of the band, which I don't know if they can show up here in this, of his band, of solo band at the time. All right, this was before he had the rejoined Priest. He was a solo artist right there, but there's his signature. All right, so I didn't get to see that show, but I did get an autographed CD out of the deal. All right, well, as far as my memory goes, I believe those are the bands that I've seen live, both here in Mexico in my previous video, which I will link in the description below, and in the United States. All right, I am hoping to see several more bands in the future. When I do, I'll let you know. Thank you very much for watching, and so long.